What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Ever Adaptive Podcast. I am your host, Becky Flowers, along with my co-host here, Sarah Budson.
Hey guys, welcome to season 2.
It's season 2, episode 26. Who would have thought we're here? But we're here.
It's been a journey to get here, to say the least.
To say the least.
But it's also been so fluid, I feel like.
It's really, it's so cheesy, but it's very adaptive. Like we are just going through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can tell in the episodes.
Yeah. And I think that this came very timely with kind of how we planned with just everything that we both have going on in our lives, season 2.
Exactly.
Kind of like
new
a
chapter.
little mini rebrand, freshen things up, get things up to date, new boobs,
You know. Actually, let's talk about that before we go into our topic. So you are, what is it? 5 days post-op?
5 days post-op. Yeah.
How are you feeling?
It's been rough. I have a really high pain tolerance. It's been rough.
Yeah.
For sure, the day after was the worst, the absolute worst of it. I think the day of, it's I was still kind of just whatever from the anesthesia, whatever. But the second, the day after sucked. It really sucked. Just everything is different. There's just this whole new dynamic to everything. Not only that, but every single movement is it's tied to your arms and you're even sitting back and trying to sit up, your core muscles, everything. There's just new twists and turns and just figuring out how to not only navigate it, but let it heal. And I'm such a busybody. I have such a hard time sitting still. That's been the hardest part for me.
This was so needed for you. And it kind of ties into our topic. But
Yeah.
I think it's just funny that you literally cannot do anything else. You need to sit still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've been pushing my limits more than I should have, but last night, yesterday, I did way more than I should have, but
Yeah,
I'm
you
still
did cardio
careful.
yesterday, didn't you? Mm-hmm.
I'm in prep now.
No, you're not. You're resting. This is the prep before the prep. So let your body rest.
No,
But
it
no,
actually felt so good to get some movement in though. Aside from just strolling around my house every couple hours. So it was good. It was super low intensity. Obviously I still want to be conscious of make sure that I don't get an infection and make sure I don't tear an incision. And so it's just, and even just with every little movement, like I told you before, this morning I woke up and I felt really good. And I took a little nap and I just barely made a weird movement, and one of my incisions was just not happy about it. And it's just dang, it sucks. But overall, I'm feeling it's been a little bit better every day, and it's starting to feel more normal. Getting out of bed, before I would have to really figure out how to maneuver to get out of bed without using my arms to get up. And this morning I was able to sit up and push myself off using my arms. So
good.
there's little things like that I'm noticing, cool, all right, we're headed in the right direction. So I have my follow-up, my post-op appointment tomorrow. He said we'll talk about training. Training will probably be about 3 weeks post-op, light lower body, and play it by ear for upper body. Luckily, I mean, I don't need a whole lot of upper body right now anyway. My lower body's my focus throughout prep anyway. So
Good. I feel like I had lots of questions and then they left my brain. One thing I was thinking about while you were talking is right now you have to adjust with your movements, but then also once you're cleared and like you're completely healed, you also have to adjust to a new body. Like
Mhm.
that's crazy. You're going to have to find new outfits and all of those things. Those are the things that we don't think about. And
Yeah.
just share your thoughts.
Well, luckily I buy almost everything oversized as is.
Yeah, but are you gonna like buy it more oversized now, or are you gonna like
Probably
embrace
not.
the
Yeah.
curves?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But like, so yesterday I had my first check-ins post-op. And so like I have only seen myself in this like sucked in sports bra. And I put my bikini top on yesterday and I was just like, oh my God. Like
You've just put a
I'm
new body.
so fucking pumped about it. Like I'm so happy. Like like swelling is for the most part gone. Like they're starting to settle, they'll settle more, but like I like my boobs were one of my biggest insecurities. And like we'll just get into this because it is
Yeah.
what it is. Like
Yeah, talk about it.
bodybuilding destroys your fucking body. Like gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. Like my boobs were one of my biggest insecurities. And I can't even say, like, even though I'm like holding a bunch of water post op, I'm fluffy as fluffy could ever fucking be off season. I cannot tell you the like confidence boost that I feel just from finally getting my boobs done and being happy with them. And like the just the dynamic that it brings to the rest of my body. I'm like, oh my God. Like for once, I feel like comfortable in my skin, even in like an off-season body, which is so crazy to me.
That is crazy. And that it makes it worth it
Mhm.
because I mean, some people might not want boobs and that's okay, but if it makes you feel more confident, then it's worth it.
Yeah, and it's something that I mean, even before I got into bodybuilding, I knew that I wanted implants.
Yeah.
And like this has been a long time coming. Like guys, I've been sitting on this for over a decade.
Yeah. So it's
So
not like, oh, I got into bodybuilding and now I want
no,
boobs. I know that's a
no,
big
like
thing.
yeah, it's been heavy on my mind for a long time. And like my mom will even be the first one to tell you. Like when I told her, she's like, I was like, thanks for not trying to change my mind. She's like, I know that you're not going to. Like, I know that you made your mind up about this. Like, it's been a long time coming. And she's been so supportive. Like, my mom has been such an angel through this. She drove me to surgery, she drove me home, she stayed with me for a couple days after. She yelled at me every time I got up and was doing something.
Good. We need to
But
get a nanny cam for her so she can just watch you.
she's just been amazing and like so supportive. I cannot like I would have not been able to make it through the first couple days without her. So it's just been it's been definitely an interesting 5 days. um just a lot of sitting still, which is not what I'm used to. Adjusting and adapting. Look at that.
Look at that. Well, since you said that there's been a lot of sitting still, let's kind of dive into our topic for the day because it's right in line with that. It's,
Relevant.
it's yes, very much sitting in stillness and just letting life take its course instead of
This is
trying to force things.
Yeah, and this is something that like even though we were in very opposite off seasons and a lot of different things going on in both of our lives, this is something that we have a commonality in right now.
Yeah, very much so. We have to learn to just sit in stillness. And it is the most uncomfortable thing
So uncomfortable.
because it's not our norm
It's
for one.
not our norm and like we're both so used to being so on point with everything and like being able to control more than we can right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard, man. It is
Yeah.
so hard, like just giving it up and like being at peace with the fact that knowing everything's going to play out exactly as it should, whether I'm like hovering over it or not.
And the fact that if you're hovering over it, it's going to still end up as it should. And you're just giving yourself more stress. Like that's been my biggest thing of I can't control this.
Yep.
I can control my actions, but that's literally it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also learning. So I'm reading The Untethered Soul by who is it? Michael Singer. And it kind of talks about in the beginning, it's talking about like your inner voice and how that's constantly going. Like if you're sitting and you're watching a show, it's like bringing up, oh, I didn't call that person back. I need to call that person back. But it's like midnight. You can't call that person back. But yet your mind still keeps like spiraling. And then you see something on TV that reminds you of an ex. And then you go down that road. And really just being aware of that unconscious part of you and kind of almost pulling it out. And he puts in the book, he's like, imagine that person's sitting next to you on the couch and they're just like going off on that tangent. Would you want to hang out with that person? No. So why are you allowing this person to stay in your head and be the like voice of reason for you?
Damn.
Right? That's been like my biggest.
That's intense.
Yeah, dude, life is intense right now. But that's been like my biggest takeaway the last couple of weeks because I've been big of like trying to control things and worrying about things that really I can't worry about. So just remembering that has been big for me.
Yeah, and that's huge. It's it's so hard to just like let go, let it be, and let him handle what he's going to handle, because like no matter what, the outcome's just going to be the outcome, right? Whether we're sitting here stressing about it, whether we're sitting here worrying about it, whether we're sitting here thinking about it, or if we're just literally like it's just letting the dust settle. Like that's where I'm at, is getting to this point where I'm like, I have so much turbulence around me that I can't keep up, and having to just be like, all right, let it be, surrender, whatever's what is for me will not miss me. And you know what, Becky? Some damn cool things have happened since I've come to that point and that acceptance. It's been so cool to watch these doors close, and some of them staying, and some of them I'm like, oh shit, like really? But it's so clear when you're on the path that you're supposed to be on.
And for you, it was literally like 3 days. You told me that you let go of everything. And then everything else that's coming into your life right now started coming in, or doors started closing that you knew that you probably should have closed, but weren't going to close yourself. They started closing on their own. Like that stood out to me so much based on like what I'm going through of like, oh shit, like we can say this all we want, but it actually happens. Like it actually is going to just work out the way that it should.
Watching shit play out is wild.
It's
And
like a fucking
not
movie.
having to hover over it is the craziest part.
How's your stress right now? Besides your boobs, like, because I feel like when you are trying to hover or you're trying to control, like your mental stress, your like just physical stress is so high. So
Good.
you're good.
It's so weird. It's so weird. And
Especially after
it's just such a lesson. Like it's the biggest lesson of like, see, look what happens. Like it really is okay.
Yeah. I'm not there yet.
You'll get there. Like it's fucking hard. It is so hard to just let things go. And I mean, obviously your case, you have a lot of shit going on. You do have a lot of logistics that you need to work out. And you have like so like your life is a whirlwind for sure.
Yeah, I
Like
feel like I have
my
so much.
saga transferred over to you.
Yes, very much so. And then it's like you throw kids on top of that. It's like how are they going to respond? What are they going through? Even like kids coming home and saying that other kids at school are picking on them. Like
Mm,
that just piles on top of it. It's like,
yeah.
well, guess I'm going to have to take out a kindergartner. Like that is a joke for legal reasons. That is a joke. But no, like that's it, yeah. I feel like there's lots of plates in the air right now, and it's been really hard for me to let it go. And I know you'll tell me all the time, like, just let it go. Just feel. I'm actually working with a new therapist that's a sports psychologist. So, like, she understands prep
Yeah.
and gut protocol and all of those things. And that's one of the other things. It's like letting it go. Did you feel today? And there's a spreadsheet that I have to fill out every single day. And I can't tell you how many times I'm like, no, I didn't want to feel. Or,
Mm.
yeah, I did. I cried. Like, fuck. I don't want to cry. Um, but that's just so I know it's necessary in order to move towards stillness and letting things go. It's the
I
hard work.
I was scrolling my own Instagram last night, looking at some of our podcast reels.
Oh, I saw those in
And
your stories.
yeah, because I'm just like, man, like we've had some really good shit on here. And I love so much that ourselves, we can go back to the things that we've put out and gain from them. Like, that is the coolest fucking thing to me. But because, like, how many times do we sit here and reference something that we said in a previous episode? It's a lot. It's like every fucking episode.
Well, because we forget what we say and then you're changing and growing and
Yeah,
always in
but
a different space.
don't numb out the bad or the good. Feel it all. You have to feel it to get through it. And I'm really excited to hear about how everything goes with your new therapist. Like, I think that that switch is really going to be good for you. Someone that understands a little bit more,
Yeah.
a little bit of our world. Um, and I think that applying that into all of the life changes that you have going on, it's going to be super beneficial.
I think the biggest takeaway so far is less focus on the situation and, you know, the actions of other people and more focus on my actions, what's going on with me, like how I can become a better person and like
Mm.
how I can fix my own fucking fucked up brain. Um
And I love that. I
it's
love that a lot. Go ahead.
it's needed. It's needed for anything in order to move on in any way. You have to fix what's going on in your own head because otherwise all of those patterns that I've developed since I was little are going to keep going. But there's even less focus on like, well, what happened when you were little? What happened with that? Because I was getting very stuck in that as well. And it's like, no, okay, that happened, but this is the result of a 36-year-old woman who now needs to heal all of these things that she needs to take ownership for.
Yeah.
And
Handle your shit.
mm-hmm,
And I do think that it was a good thing that you did go through the EMDR,
yeah.
just to get like a little glimpse into that. But I'm also glad that you're out of it because for the same reason, not being like stuck in those like these are the things that happened in the past and like just constantly like looking back at it. And it's like, no, okay, you had a glimpse of that, but like what's here now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now how do we address this? Because I feel like even unknowingly, I did a lot of that on my own when like I had left and I was working through all my shit and like growing myself as a person. Like without any direction. I don't even know how I like knew what to do. Like
Just
I
figured it
was
out.
just like, I don't all I know is there's friction in here and I gotta work it out. Right. Like I knew that I needed to look inward and become the person that I knew I could be in order for everything else around me to fall into place. And I feel like that's a constant thing, right? It's
Mhm.
not like
Yeah.
like we talk, like I reference that period of my life as like such a monumental like time and like change in my life. And it was, but it never really stopped ever since then. Like ever since you come to that like realization and that like you get to those depths of like who you truly are and like why you respond to things the way that you do and like how you grow through things. It's like once you've like unlocked and discovered that little piece of you and like that self-awareness bit, it's like that never goes away and you're constantly conscious of it. And it's constant work. And I think that that's really important to bring forth in everything that you do moving forward, because it's not just a one-time thing, because we are constantly changing, we are constantly growing, we are constantly facing new things that are thrown at us. And you use all of those lessons and those discoveries in everything that you do moving forward.
I almost feel like it's like you're starting from here. And it's kind of like with your fitness journey too, but like you start from here and then you learn and you grow and you get to this plateau and you kind of stay there. You stay at that homeostasis for a little bit, but then something else is going to come up and you're going to have to continue to learn and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I've had a conversation with a friend before where they feel burnt out from growing, like from always adapting, always growing, always becoming a new person. And I feel like that's really valid. Like we can get burnt out,
Oh yeah.
but you get burnt out and you're in that area and then you're going to come to a time where you're like, okay, I can take on more. Like I have more capacity. I can go to the next level.
Yeah. I I feel like I've been in that burnt out state for a long time, but like it doesn't mean that things stop happening, and you still don't just like you still have shit to handle. You still have
Yeah.
to address it. You still have to move forward. You still have to grow as a person, and it's those states of letting the dust settle and kind of just like regaining your ground. And once you can see through all of the smoke around you and you're like, okay, here's where I'm at, like just re up, you have that kind of newfound energy to be able to see a little bit more clearly. And then it's just continue on the journey. But
Yeah.
it's never ending.
Yeah. No, no. And that's the cool part. Like we literally can be different humans than we are right now in 6 months.
We've seen that.
Obviously, yes. Yes, we have. But even more, like I think that's what's keeping me going right now because I have the dust everywhere. And knowing that that dust settle is going to come because I've had it in life before. I've seen it through yours. I've seen it through other friends. Knowing that that is coming is keeping me going. And I'm just like mental ticking all of these things that I'm learning. And then I
Yeah.
can finally like enjoy it.
Yeah,
Maybe like crazy.
you will. It's just, but it's not going to come without doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not going to come without feeling it. It's not going to come with just numbing it. It is, it's a weird balance of, yes, letting the dust settle, but also making sure that you're addressing what you need to address.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And addressing it before the dust settles too, just to set you up in a good place for when that
Right.
does settle.
Right. Being able to like have that peripheral of like, all right, what's ahead? What's next? What do I need to address up here? And not being stuck in completely in where you're at or the past.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, this is good. I don't have anything else
Heavy hitter for episode 26.
right, but can't expect anything less. I really do feel like it's both of us walking into new chapters, so I'm excited for this new season and to bring on guests, but then also to see how we evolve in our mindsets along the way and what we continue to learn.
I feel like we've grown so much from episode 2, right? Where we're like, this is me. This is what has brought me to where I am. And like looking back at that, it's like, I almost feel like that was like such a juvenile version of me. Like looking back, I'm like, I feel like I was 5 years younger, just
Same.
literally 6 months ago.
Same. Yeah, crazy. It's insane. So I can't wait to share more. Share the shit show.
But it's all purposeful. It all brings us to where we're supposed to be in that very moment. You know, all of these steps of everything that we've gone through, we're supposed to go through at that very moment to bring us to where we're supposed to be next. And coming to terms with that and really just immersing yourself in that what is for me will not miss me. Like, God, that's been just such a pivotal thing for me. It's been so like I still have that on a post-it note in my bathroom mirror. You saw it when you were
You
here.
do.
Like,
I know.
it's never going to go anywhere because it's such an important reminder that like I can grip this motherfucker so tight, but like it doesn't matter
It does.
because if it's not supposed to be there, it's going to remove itself. And if it's supposed to be there, it's going to be known.
Mm-hmm. And you'll have no questions about it.
Yep.
I've heard something before that what is for you won't bring chaos or confusion.
Yeah.
And that's been huge.
Mhm.
You're not going to be confused when that shows up. So
All
I need
right,
to put that on
Becky.
my
All
what?
right, Becky.
I know I'm done.
Relevant.
Tapped out. All right. I know. And it's so funny right now because like you're in such a different place with that. So sometimes I'll get messages and I'm like, fuck y'all. Like,
I'm
but
sorry.
no, it's so good. It's like this whole, and this is relevant to as we wrap up. Like while you're going through this life things, like make sure that you're there for your friends who are going through different life things that you're happy for them. Because if you're not genuinely happy for the things that are going great in your friend's life, even though yours is a complete like bomb, you are telling the world that you don't want the good things that they're having when you really do.
And I need to stop you there because I cannot tell you how fucking grateful I am for you. Like all of the chaos over the last few weeks, just with the insane turn of events, you just being there and being a voice of reason, level headed still throughout all of the things that you have going on, and genuinely happy for the things that are going so for once smoothly in my life. It is like I mean, I told you, I'm like, I almost feel like I feel bad. And you're like, no, like, don't feel bad. Cause it's not there's no intent of being like bragging or like anything like that. It's just like, oh my God, like I'm in shock about how just like smooth things are going for the first time in such a long time. And I also want to share that with you because I know that there's a lot of turbulence in your life. And like with everything that has gone on in my life over the last year and a half, like it really does get better.
Well,
And
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. But then like those messages that I get of your life updates and they're so good. I will get them at my like lowest lows. Like when I'm in my car just like sobbing to myself because I don't cry and so I'll like make myself cry. Um which is another story for another day. But like I'll get those. And at first I'll be like, God damn, like I'm never going to have that. Like I'm never going to get that. But then I like will reevaluate my thoughts. And I'm like, okay, well, I know Sarah and I know where she's come from. I know where she's been. And that gives me hope. Like there's hope there. So it's like almost a selfish thing too. So I appreciate it. And on that note,
No, I am just so grateful for you being there, like no matter what. Like you've been such a constant, and like I know that the both of us, so we both helped each other grow so much throughout this 6 months of being on this podcast even. And it's just been so cool. And it's been on such a deeper level too, because like we talk about some shit, like,
yeah,
and just both getting our own perspective, but each other's too, has been so cool. And it just like helps. I feel like it helps like optimize from another angle too.
yeah, yeah. It almost helps ground me
Mhm.
sometimes.
For sure. Yeah. So hopefully other people gain value from things like that too. And if anything, I know that it's helped both of us. So whatever, it's worth it.
Exactly. Honestly, at this point in life, it is worth it. Hopefully, you guys are getting some value. If you are, let us know. Let us know
Yeah.
anything else you want to hear or see in this next season.
Yeah. So we have some exciting stuff coming up for this upcoming season. Some new faces, some old faces, just us.
Yeah.
It'll be a mixture of everything, but it's I'm excited for it. I'm excited for what's next, and just to be able to even look back on these 25 episodes further down the road and say the same thing that we did about the first one. So
I can't wait. It's going to be good. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us, guys. Let us know if you are listening, what you resonated with, and we will talk to you next week.
bye guys.